All right. So like I was saying, the last time we installed Cypress and we actually ran our first test, uh, which is the one that helps us to log into this test site. All right. I'm going to try and run it again. Uh, MPX Cypress open. We did all of this too last week. How we install Cypress, how we can open it. We also had to downgrade our version because currently Cypress is experimenting with AI. And until they are done, I don't think we should be using that much. So we went to end-to-end test, and if you load up all our spec files, all our test files, and then we select the browser that we want to use. It will come up any moment from now. Oh, it's already up, sorry. So these are the test file, and we can run this, the one that we wrote last time. It's trying to go to that website. After getting there, it's going to log in, fill in the username and password and log in, and that's it. And everything passed, right? So we'll continue from here. We'll try to adapt what we have done, the loop and all the functions that we have learned. We'll try to use it here. Okay, so let's go back to the code. All right, so this is what we did. We selected and we selected the element on the page. This is this one I'm highlighting right now. This is the username input, and the next one that we have here is the password input. And then this type would usually do what it says. We just type whatever you put inside this bracket inside this input field. And that's what we did for the admin, the what's it called, the username and the password. And then this is the submit button. And then we click on it and we're able to log in successfully. We have not touched on assertions, and we have not touched on some other complex method of doing this, but will make your code simpler, right, and make it maintainable. I'm speaking to coding patterns. There are some people that have been doing this before us, and they found out that if we organize our code in such a way, in a specific way, it helps to it helps us when we want to maintain the code, and it makes reading the code easier. Now I had to explain to you on this page now what you are looking at. Normally, if you are looking at it as a newbie that just come into, maybe you just join a company and then they give you this code base and say, okay, this is what you'll be working with. All you will see is this verify user. That is if the person even writes a good description here. If they did not write a good description here, you will see a shabby description. Then you will see some elements being selected. You don't know what that means or what it's speaking into. So it becomes confusing. And for you to actually start contributing to it, you have to first understand it. Right. So I'm going to open another code for you. I'll show you something. Now, this code also is automating the same website that we've just seen. But if you look at this, you will see a more kind of intuitive thing. Like, you know that this is getting the password and this I'm getting username, and this is putting admin inside of it as what is going to type inside of it. And there are verifications here. There are verifications there. So this makes it easier for people to work with. And we have it before each. I think I had that there also. So you see that this before each, we visit. I explained this last time also. We visit. That is when you want to dial a URL, you want to go to a specific URL, you do cy.visit, and then you go there. But if you look at the second code, it didn't do that. It just does cy.visit, and then you have this. So this means that, say for instance, now your testing environment, maybe something changes there, and then they move to another server that has a new URL. If you have, say, like 300 tests, you will have to go through all those 300 tests, judging by what we've done here, to update the URL, which is a big work on its own, just to update URL. But for what I have here on this other plane, the base URL is saved in a single site, a single place, and then accessed in multiple places. And because of that, all you have to do, even if it changes, is to go to a single place and update it there, and it affects everything that you have done. Right? 1 second, please. Okay. So those kind of things that you can add to your code that will make it stand out, right? There are okay. So this is just for login, and you are testing for different scenarios for login. And as you can see, it's easier because let me go back to what we did the other time. What we did is that we verified that you cannot log in with the wrong username. And I say, okay, let's say you want to test, verify user is not able to log in with wrong password, for instance. So what it means is that here now, I have to copy and paste these two guys like this. And then I have to say, okay, this is the password. Let me add 4 to this. This is the wrong password now. I want to verify that I'm not able to log in using that. So it will go to this place again, and then input the username, input the password, then click on this guy again. As you can see, I'm just copying and pasting. What happens tomorrow? Maybe your developers decide to change the way you access those elements. If that changes, it means that for every word I've copied and pasted, I will have to go back and be changing the way that those elements are accessed one after the other, which again is a problem. So if you are writing your code, just keep this as a rule of thumb. When you're writing your code and you realize that you are starting to copy and paste, that is an indication that your code can easily be optimized. Instead of copying and pasting, you can just write a function. And I showed you how you can write a function last time. And then from that function, you can then be calling that function anytime that you need to run that code. That way, if something should change tomorrow, you just go to that function and change it there, and it affects everywhere that you have used it. That is the case with this second one that we are talking about, this second part that we're talking about. You will see that those element locators, how we've selected them, they are not even showing up here. They are wrapped inside method. And as I hover on it, you can see that VS Code is already telling me that is a method. All right, there is a method called username. And inside it, you accept username. So if I go to this method now, you will then see that this is where I get it. And then I type username to it. So I'm just showing you this on a very broad level. We'll go a little bit into it now. I think our time is fast spent. We'll go a little bit into it now so that you see how we can do this. So this coding pattern that I'm showing you is called um, page object model. So what it does is that when you go to a particular website that you want to automate, I'm trying to get that website so that I'll go to it on my browser and show you. When you go to a website like this, and maybe you want to automate a part of it or everything about it, your first here is landing page. That is where you see where you want to log in and the password that you want to choose. For page object model, what you would do is that you create a class, most likely. Inside that class, I know we've not talked about class, but I mentioned it briefly last time that it is a blueprint for object, and I shared what object is to you last time also. So you can create many objects from a single class. So what you are basically doing is that inside that object, you are saving every element that you are going to be interacting with on a single page there. For instance, this username field, you're going to be interacting with it. This password field, you're going to be interacting with it. And then this login button, you're going to be interacting with it. This forget your password link, most likely you'll be doing that also. So you will save the object locator there, the locator, the elements, how you can find it. You save it there. And then underneath, you also create methods that you can use to access those things that you have saved. I'm trying so hard not to start explaining OOP here. And that's the reason why I'm going as simple as I can. Okay, so we can update this to give us that. But before I do that, let me check what's next on our agenda before I go off. We have not talked about assertions and verification. So let's do that first. Okay. There are also ways that you can work with iframes. You can handle pop-ups, in Cypress. We'll also get to that in a bit. We've talked about how you can click and input. We've not talked about much about forms, but we did fill the login form to log into the uh, to the application. So now let's first talk about assertions. In our case here, we have not asserted anything, right? You know, we just logged in. We're not asserting anything. All right. So let's talk about that. Let me move this away from here. Sorry. So let's go to our this place, and we already showed how we can what's it called? We can inspect elements. That's what we want to do now. So I'm going to log in. Snapshots. That's why I like this guy. I'm going to try to log in, and then we start picking elements there. So the first one is that we're able to log in successfully, right? We want to show that we have logged in. So we pick an element that we can only find when we have logged in and assert that it is there. Is that okay? So let's select this guy here. I'm sorry, I've gone and click something I should not click. Okay, so let's select element and see and just see that they are there. So this one is a locator that you want to use to select elements. So I'm picking this. Once I pick it, it would you see all of those things. You can hover around and get the locator. Now, I know we've not talked much about locator. I just assume that you will know what they mean. I'm going to select this. Okay. And then I'll copy it. After I do that, I'll go back to the code. And then after we've clicked on login button, that's when we want to make sure that that element is there. So I can do cy.get, but I can paste what I just copied, which will have cy.get. So it's picking that image, and I say that, and I want to assert. I can use .should there for assertion. Then I can say should exist like this. So if, for instance, after clicking this button and after waiting for page to load and the element does not exist, this guy here, this test will fail. Okay. Now, I said something about locators. Just bear with me. I want to show you what locators mean right now. This is also the site that we're automating here. And I'll try to log in now. And after I logged in, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to right click on this page and I'll click on inspect. So I can right click and go to inspect. If you're like me that likes using shortcut, you can press shift and bring it to the same thing. So you bring up this side panel for you. And on the panel, you will see all of these things here. But most importantly, you will see elements. And those are the locators I was talking about, how you can get to this place. There are different kinds of locators. There is locator, there's ID, CSS selectors, experts, and the rest. But in this case, Cypress really love CSS selector. For people who have done something related to web development before, they will understand what CSS selector means, and you see that this is CSS selector. This keyword nth child really is really being used by CSS. Okay. And there's something that you may want to download also, a plug, an extension really, but it's not compulsory though. Selectors Hub. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. But these are this element that you see right now, they are the HTML elements that make up the page that we are looking at. There are also some things to it. There are also some other side to it, like the styles. That's the CSS. That, that's the coloring that you are seeing, the arrangement of the element and stuff. And then there's JavaScript part, which is the script. Where does that reside? Well, it's somewhere here, Sha. The script that is running on the page, the JavaScript that is running on the page. So those are the three things that forms a normal website these days: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But our business is with all the three of them. But for now, let's stick to the HTML and CSS part of it. So if I come here and I say maybe I want to see what makes up this time thing, I can right click on it and go to inspect. It will direct me to the element itself that is doing that for me. So it's this element here. Okay. And you will see elements always have attribute and value. You will see class equals to. That is the CSS class that I was talking about, the CSS. That's the value, right? And you will see attributes also. Attribute is class. Value of that attribute is what is inside these quotes. So what you can do is what Cypress has done for us is that instead of us to be coming onto this page, for people who have tried Selenium before, you would have to be coming to this page to select elements locator by yourself to say that, okay, the class is this. Let me use class to identify these elements. Then I'll put it in my code and stuff like that. What Cypress has done for us is that instead of doing that, We can easily come here to this playground, Cypress playground here. Select this thing, and then just hover on this place, and bam, it has given us the locator, and we can copy it and use it in our code. Simple. So that makes it easier for us to use compared to using Selenium. When you are using Selenium, when you have to go to the page to actually copy the locator and get the locator, maybe using Selectors Hub or Chrome path or something. Yeah, But now it's easier with Cypress. You just do that, and that's it. And that's one of the things that Cypress is trying to enhance in their latest release, using AI to do that. You can actually tell AI by natural language. You will go to that website, pack all the things that you need for you, and you'll be able to use it. Right. So that's one of the things that they are doing already. Playwright is doing it excellently well. There are several MCPs. That's MCP for Playwright that you can use, AI agents that you can use for when you are automating with Playwright. That does that for you right off the bat. So sorry for that digression. Anyways, so that's it. So I'm going back here, and have you see that I've asserted something? Let's run the code again and see if it's going to do it. So I'm going to do run all tests. Okay, I'm going to do this to run it again, and it's going to go there. It's inputting it, and it has verified that the element is there, and everything seems to pass. If you want to see how it works, you can enlarge each of the tests and see what you have done. So before each, we visit this page, and then we get this. And as I'm hovering on it, you are seeing where it's pointing to on the page. That box there. I can do this, and I said I typed admin to it. After that, I went to the password field, and then I typed admin123 to it. And then I go to the login button and I click it. You can see it's a snapshot. It's like a video recording. So you can use this to debug whatever is wrong with your code. And you can see this green here. And I asserted that orange HRM image is there on the page and it's green. If it is not there, it would have turned to red. All right. So the next one I did is to also go to that page, and then I inputted wrong password. All right. But I click and I click on the submit button, but I did not assert anything. It also passed. So this means that when you are running your test, you did not assert anything. You are not checking for anything. All your tests will remain green. It will look as if it's working well. So you do have to actually put assertion that will fail if something is wrong with the website. Okay. So here, let's put an assertion. We'll go back to the visit. And let's put the wrong password there, and then let's observe the sorry about that, and then we'll observe the error message that comes out after. Okay. Oh boy. I'm still here. Sorry. Mm. So, so it displays invalid credentials, and you can assert this also. You pick it with Cypress, and it will surely verify it. We can assert this. You can assert that it exists the same way we did the other one. This running. So we can come here and assert that this does exist. It's an alert. And then here we can even assert the text here. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to the code, and I'm going to do this after this one, and say, is this dot should, right? And then you can do half text. Half text, right? Then you can put the text there, okay? Or you can also assert that it exists. Half text, if I can remember, the text is invalid credentials. If the spelling is not correct or something like that, it will fail the test. Okay, so once this is done, I can rerun the test and see what happens. You can see it passed. If I click on this and go to the assertion, you'll see to have text invalid credentials, and it does have it. All right, so that's the assertion. It's more than that. If you were here last week, I did mention that you can get more material, more knowledge from here. The Cypress website. What I like to do is I can search the docs, say assertions. It will bring you to it. So you can see there are tons of it that you can use. Those should have this. It's making use of chai. There are other assertion libraries that you come across as you continue in this field. So you see lots of assertions that you can use. You can use greater than, you can have a value, you can have equals to, deep equals to, empty, does it exist? I think I used this just now. You have should have extra keys. You know, there are a lot of it based on your use case, right? And these are jQuery chainers, right? So you see this. This is jQuery. This is an array really. We'll still get there. If you have to pick element on the page and you want to save them inside an array, you can use that. It's basically for objects. So I'm going to put this there also so that you can go through it if there's ever a need for you to use it. Where's that thing? All right, and I see someone drop a video. That's good. Please go through it. There are tons of material out there and they are free, right? I believe what I'm doing right now is just to open your eyes to the possibility. And I would very much like you to grow on it, right? To know that when you see things like this, I've come across people that if you open a text editor like this and they see code, they tell you that it's giving them a headache. It's just for you to know that this is not as hard as people think it is, as some people think it is. Code editor, writing code is at some point it comes to you like a natural thing, like a language. Like yes, you are communicating, you are telling the machine what to do. That is basically what you are doing. And what we are writing here is even on the uh, it's even on the abstraction side, which means that we are not even directly talking to the language, to the machine. There is something that compiles it and make it the machine language that the machine can understand, right? So please, it's easy, all right? Um, do I still have time?
I think we can finish the class by 2:30 to be able to cover some topics on Cypress for tomorrow.
Okay. So I've covered assertion and given you where you can get those, where you can get more information. What I would like to do, one challenge I'm having right now is that I'm not teaching GitHub or Git, sorry, I said GitHub or Git. I would have loved to push this to some repository where you all can access it and look at it, but it's fine. So this, I'm going to refactor this. Refactor really means that you want to make the code better and make it more usable. Before I do that, I would like to open call your attention to a very good, some good things that Cypress offers. For instance, if you look at here, this comes with your installation, Cypress config.js. Okay, there are a lot of things that you can put here. Okay, so you can see I already put one thing here. Watch for file changes and set it to false. I did that last time because if I did set this to false, whenever we do any small change on our code, this Cypress executor will keep refreshing and keep running the test over and over again. Even if you had a comma, it will restart the test and run every test again. Cypress value to false. There are other values that you can see here. One of it, which is important, is the spec pattern. There's a default one. Uh, is called spec pattern. Spec pattern. All right. So what you put in here is to tell Cypress where all your tests are, where they are, and how you can identify that they are test files. In our case, we have it inside E2E, correct? So we can tell Cypress that, okay, this is where our test is. So I'm going to right click on that E2E, copy the relative path, then open a quote and paste it there. So I'm saying that, please, if it gives you this backslash, change it to forward slash. Backslash is for escaping characters. Okay, so I'm saying that my tests are inside E2E. As you can see, they are inside E2E folder. But I also want to tell the Cypress that, okay, those files, they always end in a specific manner. It's because someone can mistakenly put a non-test file inside this E2E folder, because I'm anticipating that you're not going to be the only one working on a particular project. Maybe someone else is working on it, and someone putting a file here that is not a test file here can cause some kind of issues. So you want to say that, okay, all my test file is going to end in a certain way, cy.js. All right, so you can say that, you can put an asterisk here, it's a wildcard, that every file inside this folder that ends with cy.js, that is what you want to run, and it will get it. Okay, Cypress also have another thing called retries. If a test should fail, maybe due to some environmental issue, maybe environment is not well set up or something, you can ask it to retry. So you can use retries, okay, and then you can give it a number, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, anyone. But it's not good that it should be much because it will give you issues. You can also set some environment variables here. This is important for when you are working with test data or even base URLs that are for that environment. So you can have an ENV. You know that we've been talking about object and arrays. And as you can see, this thing that I'm working on right now is JavaScript object. Simple. If I go back to what we did last time, and then I mentioned object, let me uncomment this. You can see that const person equals to this, and then it's inside a curly braces, and then we have key value, key value, key value. If I go back to that config, you'll see that it's the same thing, key value, right? This E to E is the object, and then it can house an object. It can house a, what's it called? A method. This guy right here is a method. This is just a key value object, key value property, key value, key value. What I'm about to do now is to add another object to it. Object inside an object is allowed. So I can say environment object like this. Then I can put in anything that I want. I mean, not anything basically, but I can put something for base URL. And I'm going to just call it base URL like this. And I'll say it is, then the value of our base URL. I think I copied it sometime. Okay, there it is. That's our base URL. Now, when I want to now use it, instead of us, when we were inside our spec file to do cy.visit and I had to put the URL here, I can change it to something more stylish. So I remove this. I remove this, and then I will access the config.js and pull out the base URL. How do I do that? I can write Cypress dot env like this, and what I want will be in this, so I can go back to that and then copy this. This is what I need. So go back to our tests and put this there. Sorry, Control V. So this will now go back to that. Whatever I want to run, it will go back to the config.js, the configuration file, put the base URL there, and then the test will run. This helps because we might have several files that we are using to test. All we have to do is to do this to call the base URL. If the base URL changes tomorrow or change anytime and we've written a lot of tests, all we have to do is to change it in this one place and it affects everything. All right. Is that cool? Is that good? Okay. Thank you. So we can also make use of something called examples. Is it example? Fixtures, sorry, fixtures. So fixtures help you to test when you are running tests and, oh, sorry, when you're running your test and you see that by default, Cypress already created a fixture file for us. And this is what it is. It's simply a JSON file. JSON file is just like an object file. The only thing is that all of the key, the variable, everything, the key and the value, they are quotes. They are in quotes. For our JSON object, you see that these ones are not in quotes, but these ones are in quotes. But for JSON objects, everything will be in quotes. That's just different. All right. We can create our own fixture file here. Let's give it a new file and say, I'm not good with naming files or naming anything. Fixture, my fixture just .json. It will pick it. It will make it a JSON file. And what I want to put here is the so in our test here. Where is that test? In our test here, you see that we are putting our username and password in a plain text for everyone to see. All right, we can hide it inside a fixture file. We can hide it inside a fixture file and then bring it out here. Is that fine? Let's do that. So we can say inside here, we can say username, all right, is admin. And remember to put it inside the curly braces. Don't be like me. You can say username is admin. The next one, you have to put comma there if you have a next value. And you can say password is admin 123, like that. Okay, so we have this, but how do we use it? All right, let's go to our test file. The way to use it is to call cy.fixture. Okay, I'm doing it inside the before each because I want it to be ready before each test. Okay, so I can do cy.fixture to bring it in. And which fixture file do I want to bring in? I want to bring in what's the name? The name of the file.
My fixture.
My fixture. Thank you. Like that. Now, cy.fixture is going to bring in the file. When I first started using this, right, I had I had issues using it. That's because you see this before method that we are using is an anonymous method, anonymous function. Sorry. We are using arrow function. I don't know if Cypress have corrected it, but the last time I used it, if you use an arrow function and you are calling fixture, it will not work. You have to turn it to the normal basic function that we are used to. So I'm going to turn it to that. I'll just call function like this, and that's it. So you remember last week I talked about two ways that you can create a function, right? I hope you can still remember. One is arrow function, and the other one is by using the function keyword. Okay. All right, so. But we can still not use it yet. Reason is that I just called the fixture, right? But I don't have this thing for it. I don't have a variable name for it. So I can return it in a callback function. These things this callback function I just said to you now. I don't want you to memorize it. I want you to see it as something that runs after a process. It's chain. You are chaining a process to another process. So this cy.fixture is a process that is running to go to your fixture file and get the content of this file, my fixture. You are not saying that because it's now becoming like an asynchronous function, asynchronous things. Asynchronous means that, let me explain JavaScript for you, small JavaScript for you before I bust into that. JavaScript is synchronous. It runs your code line by line from top to the bottom. It does not wait for anything naturally. So if within your code, you are calling a URL and that URL is going to bring something back for you, normally it will not wait for that thing to come back. It will just move on to the next line and continue execution. There have been some kind of asynchronicity, if that word exists, within Cypress itself. For instance, this .type. If you look at how this .type is implemented, there is an asynchronous function somewhere that is waiting for cy.get to finish getting an element on the page before it then start typing on it. That is why you see something on Cypress where they will say that it automatically waits for some condition to be met before moving on. So this will wait for this element to be gotten on the page before it then start typing on it. It's the same thing that we want to do with this fixture right now, but it's kind of manual to us because you are the one that knows what we want to do. And we use a dot then. You can Google what it is. Dot then really is that as it is. After you've gotten this, then execute what I'm about to write now, which is a function, an anonymous function that does not have a name. Okay. And inside here, I will have this. So I can say that the data will be this, which means that the data that this guy gets from the fixture file will be saved inside this data. And I can propagate that data for the rest of the file by doing this dot data equals to data. That is, the data that exists within this file is now equals to this data that we get from here. This means that I can use this here and say, instead of admin, I can say this dot data dot what do we call it? Username, right? Yeah, username. Okay, and then we can do the same for this one. All right, so if someone is reading your file now from the top to the bottom now, they will not see your URL. It's hidden somewhere where it's easy for you to manipulate. Your username and password is not easily read by anybody anymore. It's kind of hidden now. Okay. Someone, Oluwafemi, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, my question is, can we go back to is it cypress.config? Sorry. So that I'll be able to remember my question. Exactly. Thank you. Can we have more than one base URL in this format?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just make sure that the name, this base URL is different. So maybe you have dev base, dev URL. Let's say you have dev URL, for instance. You can then have URL for that. Maybe you then have prod URL. You then have your URL inside here also. You get?
Yeah, I think I get what you mean now. Like maybe the product aspects, maybe the creation of user aspects, maybe catalog URL, like that. Is that what you mean?
No,
Yeah.
you know that. No. Let me explain better. When you go to Facebook, you go to facebook.com. But after you log in, it has /profile. It will now be facebook.com/profile. In this case, the base URL, I just use base URL here. In this case, the base URL is just facebook.com. In the same vein, I can say that this is this can be the URL, the base URL, right? And then whenever I want to use it, I can then put /login there. Do you get?
Yes.
I can then put maybe /URL there. But there's a way that I want to do this. I don't want you to confuse you, but just know that that's the base URL. I'm going to return it. I can show you that later. Where is?
Okay.
So
I just want to know if we can have several base URL, several URL in this format. So we just keep calling them.
So no, don't do that. The convention is that this base URL really means that the environment you are pointing to. So if you are working in a team, your team usually have more than one environment. As a quality assurance person, you'll be testing on maybe test environment. The developer will be working on dev environment. You might have a staging environment, and then you might have a production, most likely you have a production environment. all of this environment that I talked about will have some changes in their base URL, right? So you might want to put them here so that you know which one you are testing. Basically, when you are testing this thing, whatever you have in your test environment should be the same thing that you have on your staging, should be the same thing that you have on your production environment. So in terms of the element that you are picking on the page, everything should be the same. The only thing that is different is the URL that is taking you to that website. That is what is differentiating, between a prod environment and a staging environment and a test environment. By putting all of them here, you can easily switch your test from test environment to maybe production environment or maybe staging environment without doing zero adjustment to your code. So you have test file that has been written. You can switch to test environment to test on the dev environment if they ask you to. If you want to run regression on your own test environment, you can switch to the test environment URL here, and then it will test it for you. That's what this one is about. But for the one that you are talking about, which is the when you are going to several URLs on the same environment, maybe the login, the product page, the catalog page, the other kind of page, you notice that all of these will have the same URL, just maybe at the back. You are now /product /login /catalog / all of these things. Those / you can leave them as it is, but the base URL, you have to put it here for easy use. Put it here and then do / on the other end. Before I continue, there's a lot of things that is going through my mind, but I'll just quickly add something to our to this sample. Remember that I said that if you want to declare a string, you use something like this, right? You can also use something called backtick. My original name equals to, let's say, Olawale. So backtick, this thing is just under your escape button, your escape key. I can say Olawale. The reason why I'm going here is that using this, let me put this at the, using this backtick, you can easily combine different things, combine different data types. You know that for us, when we're using it before, we are using plus to concatenate it, to do plus this. But here now, instead of using plus, I can write naturally. If I want to say my favorite number is this number, say, okay, let me call just console.log. So console, just pardon me a minute. I want to say console.log, right? This thing I started again. So console.log this. Now, if I want to add something that is already declared, maybe to say my favorite number is my number, I can say and my favorite number is. So I'll do one thing, add a $sign, then add a curly braces, and inside here I can then type what has been declared before, my number. You get? So these are strings. It's more. It has a more natural flow than what we have here. So we are doing the same thing, right? We are doing the same thing. In fact, let me just write it so that it will be the same thing. My name is. So instead of having quote and everything, no, I'll just put $sign, quote, and then say my name. So these two are doing the same thing. Line 9 and line 11, they are doing the same thing. The only thing is I'm using backtick for line 9, which makes it flow naturally. You can easily read it than this one that you have to add plus, and then space it, make sure that the spacing is there. The reason why I did this is that I want to do that URL thing that Oluwafemi was talking about. Emmanuel, your hand is up.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I think what you did on that config file folder is just like what we do on Postman. Like creating an environment on Postman.
Yeah, in an environment.
Yes, exactly. So that's what it's trying to do here.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
So the reason why I did this, thank you for that, Emmanuel. The reason why I did this is that I will now go back to that config file, right? I remove this login /login, okay? And then I'll go back to our spec file. And instead of having this, I have base URL here. I will surround this with that our backtick. Okay. I'll surround with that our backtick. Then I'll put $sign here, curly braces, and then I'll end it here, so that I can say /login. You get? So it's going to evaluate this, and that means it is going to go to our config file and pull up this guy here. Then it's going to add /login. So to your question, Oluwafemi, so if you are visiting other pages, all you have to do is do this and put / the path of that page, archive, catalog, or whatever. So you have a question?
Yes,
this
thank you.
is back.
Excuse me. From your one statement, you lead to another question. Now, still on this config file, I know when you were explaining it, you talked about you can switch from one environment to another. Can we actually use the switch statement on the config file when you're switching between URLs?
Okay, so but you know that for config, for switch, there's something that you will use as your control. That if case, let me go back there, so that's control. Okay. This one, that you are using to switch. What will you then use to switch? Okay.
I was just wondering, when you said switch, you just don't know, okay, can we actually use the switch? I was just thinking that, okay, if that switch statement will work, it will be better we using the config file instead of getting to start changing URL. Just put everything there and save it. That when is this environment switch to this and blah blah.
Yes, we've been using it for ages like that. So I like the way you are thinking, because you are thinking about the whole project as a whole, as a general whole, which makes sense, which is good. So there's something called CI/CD. So most times when you are testing, you will write your test case, your script on your personal computer, just the way we are writing it right now. But when you want to run the test, it is not okay to be running it on your computer, because you go home and maybe you're in the middle of the night, you want to be running at the middle of the night. Say you wake up and be running at the middle of the night. No, there is CI/CD, that's continuous integration, continuous development. In that place, you can put your script also within the pipeline. So as developers finish their own part, they deploy on test environments. Once they deploy on test environments, this CI/CD tool will pick up your test script and run it. At that point, the determination of knowing which environment to run it on can be done, because there are some details that the CI/CD will provide that is available on the as environment variable that you can pick on to switch between dev environment, test environment, staging environment, or prod environment. Once the CI/CD tool provides you with those environment data, you'll be able to know if it is a dev environment. Then you can use that switch, that variable that the CI/CD tool will give you. That is what you put inside this switch here. And then you can have a case for each of the environments. Case is dev, case is prod, case is staging. So based on it, it will pick up anyone and run automatically. You don't have to even to touch anything. But that is a more advanced side of test automation.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So what we've done now is that we've abbreviated or abstracted the the base URL, and the data that we need. So you can put your data inside here. Maybe you are using a lot of data in your tests. You can put them inside your fixture file and pull it up as you are going, and it will work. There is also possibility for you to connect to a test database with your Cypress on real time, and it will pull the data from database and use it for your tests. I'm not going to demonstrate that yet, I mean here, but just know that that's a possibility, things that people have been using. Okay, so let me run this again and see if this will still run, or maybe we have committed blunder. Okay, I don't have to. Okay, it says I have an error inside my config file. That's guys, you'll be writing tests. I can assure you that you will have errors. The best thing for you to do, I don't have any errors. The best thing for you to do is to be able to troubleshoot it and know what the error is. I don't have any error. It has cleared. So you see the error messages on the screen. Just try to read them. Some people don't like error messages, especially when it's painted in red. They just go like, I don't know. So don't do that. Just read it. Sometimes when you read it, you get the solution even from reading the error messages. And plus, you are the one that wrote the code in the first place. So what can be wrong? What can go wrong? All right, so it's loading the tests. I want to run it again to see that everything. Okay, hold on. Now look at this. It's saying that I have an error on my cypress.config.js line 10. Let's go and see what is on line 10. There's nothing there. Everything is green. It said the syntax unexpected token. This closing braces. Let's see. Do I have a closing braces there? No.
Closing braces.
I think it just failed to.
Is that 916?
No, it's line 10. I think it just fails to reload. Let's try again. Let's click on try again and see if everything should be fine. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. There's no issue. It's just being silly. So it's running the test. And you can see that it's getting the username and password there correctly. And it's verifying everything. Everything still passes.
Yeah. Can we allow you to log in instead of putting a wrong password?
So the first one actually logged in.
Okay.
The first one actually logged in. The second one is the one that is not logging, but I can rearrange it so that the one that logged in first will come last. I mean, so if I should run this again now, let's run this again. So this is the one that's the second one is running the second one. It's very fast actually. You might not be able to see it. So you see that this one logged in.
Sure.
So
I think the name of the test needs to be corrected. It's to verify the user is able to log in with valid credentials.
yeah. So what's the time? Jeez. Should I go on? Someone has a question. Please go on, Masrat.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Thank you so much for this class. It's really educating. Thank you. So my question is that if we want to do negative and positive testing, how do we do it? I don't know how I can put it to explain more, but the way you just did this one now that you arrange it. So what if after we log in, we want to verify if okay. The one we are doing is just click, right? So what if we just want to like add some things to carts and we want to verify that okay, this one is not adding to carts? I don't know how I'll put that question, but I'm just a little bit confused. If we want to do both negative and positive test, how do we run it?
Okay, the example that you made for cards, adding to cards, is similar to, in the same regard, it's the same level as what I've done here. So what I've done here is that I've tried to log in with incorrect password, and it showed me password incorrect. Let me show you. That's a negative test. That's it. So this one, so you can see at this point it failed because it failed with invalid credential. That is a negative test. Likewise, you can do
Okay.
the same. You can do the same everywhere.
Okay, so is it after it has run the negative one, is it going to like go ahead again and still run for positive?
Yes. Let me show you the code so that you understand. At the beginning of the code, I have it before each. Before each means that before each of these tests, before each block, it's going to run this guy. And what is going on in this guy is that this guy is going to the URL, right? And then it's setting up the test file, test data for us. Okay, so before each, it will go to this website. Before the first one, it will go to this website and then run this. It will terminate that session and then go to the website again and run this second one.
The second one. Okay. All right, that's clear now. Thank you so much. So maybe when we now get inside the application and we want to like do another positive and negative, it's still going to like bypass that negative and still run for positive.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so what's next? I want to introduce you to one thing. I've already mentioned it before. That's page object model. What is this? What is this?
I have a little bit similar question to her.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so I was wondering of a scenario where we're trying to make sure that all the elements are available, and let's say that an element is not available. Is there a way that we can download um, every element that is currently on the page and compare it with maybe one that is on the, I don't know, maybe the documentation, or like a negative case where you're going to put an element that is expected but is not currently on the, the page.
Yeah. I'm trying to is on the page or not. Hello?
Sorry, you it's crumbled. I did not hear what you said.
Okay, are you trying to confirm if an element that you want to interact with, you want to confirm if it is on the page or not? Is that what the
Yes,
question is?
yes. You're expecting an element to be there. How do you test for, like, you're not sure it's there? Maybe you don't have the full details of the element name. How is there a scenario where you can check check for that?
Okay, so the
Or is
number one thing, one of the
okay.
fundamental things of test automation is that there's no surprises unless you are using AI to help you out. Surprises meaning that everything that you want to work with, you already know them. Okay, so you're just confirming that they are there and they are functioning the way they should function. So I'm not sure if there's a way that you can, unless you are using all this AI augmented tests to check. I'm not sure there's a way that you can check if an element that you're not sure is there on the page. Do you get?
Okay.
So if I'm on this page and I want to confirm that this icon is there, I already know that icon is supposed to be there. So when I'm testing, when I'm writing the script, I would have grabbed what should be the locator here and save it somewhere. So when my automation test gets here, it looks at it and try to find that element. And guys, there is a timeout there. One of the good thing about Cypress that Selenium doesn't have is that there's an automatic wait. For all these elements that I picked on the page, and I do .type, there is a time that the default time that this Cypress will wait for that element to show up on the page. If it doesn't show up within that time, then it consider that the element is absent on the page, and the test will fail at that point. If it's able to find it, it interacts with it and it moves on, and the Cypress moves on. For Selenium, you have to like dictate what that you have to actually implicitly wait for that element to show up. I hope that's answered your question.
Okay. I think it's clear because my understanding of what you're saying is you can't is it that you can't necessarily use automated testing to do okay, like I would have to do the manual test first. You can't use that to do a UX test to make sure that it fits according to the documentation.
Yeah, so UX test is not automation test. Automation test is validating that a specific thing is there, is working as it should. Part of what I said last time was that manual testing and automation testing, they are not the same. You have to perform exploratory testing and all those things and manual testing on your application before you move on to automation test to avoid surprises. Right. So that has to be done. The one that you are referring to is actually possible, but it's possible with AI. I've used it before, where you ask the AI to do some exploratory tests and it will just go through the website and write some it would go through the website or whatever you want to test and write you a test plan based on what is able to explore. And using that test plan, you can actually use that test plan to write automation tests then. So that is, Cypress doesn't have that currently, but Playwright does. So you can do that if that's what you are looking for.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I thought, okay, all right. So before we go, someone's hand is up again. What's right?
Yes, thank you. Please, in a situation whereby there is a website that has too many pop-ups, do we still automate that kind of website? I don't know. Like Shane or Temu, they used to have plenty pop-up. Even before you do something else, another one would have come up.
Right. So those websites, it can be automated now. Why not? So the thing is that that's why you work within a team. Your team will consist of your developers and product managers and everything. So you align on the expectations of what automation test is supposed to cover, and you explain to them what is limiting you and what is a blocker to you. One of it can be those pop-ups. Those pop-ups cannot be, most of them, they are not predictable, really. So they're not predictable in the sense that it depends on the profile of the person that logs in and their interaction on the website that those pop-ups comes out. So if you are testing a site like Temu, for instance, you'll be testing from the development perspective. That's what I meant to say. And you can eliminate those pop-ups from your test environment, at least until you are going to staging, so that you can have a good test on your test environment. You get, so it requires a proper alignment between you, dev, product and teams. Do you understand?
Okay.
So yeah.
Because I noticed some pop-ups when you like inspect it down and you try to run it again, the locator or whatever you use, they change immediately. So it becomes difficult for you to know which one is which.
You can, yeah, locators can change, but you can still be able to pick them out. If it's a constant type of pop-up, you know that, okay, at this point, one pop-up will come out. At this point, another pop-up will come out. You can work. I've worked with one thing like that before. This one was even a mobile application. So you can still work with it if those pop-ups are predictable. You just
Okay.
have to find how you can, if it is a publicly accessible website, something that you don't have control over, then you just have to work with what you have. But if you are working within development team that is developing the application, then you can ask them to put an ID there for you, so that you use those IDs to locate those elements.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a good image. Okay, this should do. This should do. That is not that clear enough. Let me try and get another image. All right, so this is how it looks like. 1 second, please. Okay. This should do. All right, so let me use this to explain it. So you know that when we went to the website that we are using to automate, we landed on a page, a login page, and then when we logged in, another page opened to us, which is the dashboard page, right? So if you are working with that kind of thing, hold on, Adenike, please, can you send the that second test website that you included in the slide for last week? Can you just post it in the chat? When you do, let me know. So when we have multiple pages that we want to interact with, and those elements, you can use it at any point in your automation. Like the element on each page, you can use it in any point in your automation. You want to save those elements in a place where you can easily access them and use them and reuse them without having to go back to the page and fetch the locators all over again. That is the number one reason why we use page object. Page object also helps you to compartmentalize your tests, your test. So when you are doing login page tests, you know that you are only going to be interacting with a file, which that file will contain all the elements that you have on that page. So if, for instance, now something changes on your dashboard page, you don't have to go to the login page and be, moving around. You just go to the dashboard page and edit what you want to edit there, and then everything is good to go. So one thing or another thing that it helps you to do is that it helps you to locate where the issue is very quickly. It helps you to debug very quickly without too much problem or wasting too much time. So this is how the structure looks like. Each of the page, web page 1, web page 2, you will have a class for each one of them. All right. You then import those class into your test file and then use the element that you've selected in those web pages in your test. Okay, it's that simple, but it's very efficient. It's the top one that people use a lot in test automation cycle because we tend to automate websites, applications that have numerous pages. Imagine if you have to put all the page objects and page elements that you're selecting into a single file. It will be a long file, and for you to even see the one that you are working with is a problem. But if you put them inside each of their own classes, you'll be able to work with them in a very good way. Now, I'm going to do one thing that I've not done before. I showed you what object is, and I also mentioned that I'm really trying to be faster. And I also mentioned that objects are classes are blueprints for objects. We are going to see how that works just in 1 second now. I'm going to go to support. Inside support here, I'm going to create a file here. I'll call it a folder. Sorry, I'll call it page objects. Okay. I'll call it page objects, and inside of it, I will create a file called login page. Okay, .js. Now this is a file. This is a file that will contain all of our login page elements. If I go here, I'll show you the login page. The login page is this is the login page. So inside here, we'll collect the username field, password field, login button, and then forget password button. Okay, we'll collect those elements and then we'll write methods to work with them. So here, to create a class, you just have to create a JavaScript page like this, JavaScript script like this, and then write the key name login. Then key name is a class. Sorry, stop confusing me. Key name is class, and then the name of the class. Then open a parenthesis. That's it. You have created a class. All right, and inside that class, you can then start to pick up elements that you want to interact with, and that's it. So you can also have, I'm not going to go into this, you can also have a constructor. And in that constructor, you can start picking your elements inside here. Okay. But let me not make it complicated. But you can read up on class and what constructors are. Let me just pick up the elements and then put an object here, a method here, that's a function to interact with it. So we can have
that's login.
For login. So let's go to Cypress and start picking up these things.
Can't we pick it from what we've written before?
Yeah, we can. Okay, you want us to do that? That's fine. The spec. So this is our this thing. This is our username.
Username. Yeah.
Okay. So you can go here and say, can create a method called get username. All right. And so we can do something. You'll see what I mean. This is a method. Remember the method I showed you the other time? It's just that because this is JavaScript and it's weird. When you go inside a class and you want to create a method, this is a function. I keep saying, so please, if I say method or say function, they are interchangeable to me. They're the same. So when you see this, get username and this is how you declare a function inside a class. If it's a standalone that is inside the normal JS file, you probably, in fact, most likely you do it like this one that we have here. Remember when we did this? But if you're inside a class, you do it like this. Where's that class? You do it like this, the name. Then if you want an argument here that you want to use inside the body, you can do it here. But because now we want to return something, okay, let me just get it first. And then I'll return something. Return this guy. What did I do? So we're asking it to return this guy. The same way we can do for get password also. Get password. The next time we'll optimize this one and you will see why we need to do it. So where's our password one? And you can do this. Now, all this should actually be private, but this is JavaScript. So we can then do signing. Like you can do a single method for login. So you can do a single method that says login, and this login will now have two things. You will have your username and then your password. Okay, and then inside here, you will then have get username. Okay, this is going to return it's going to return this object to you, this web element to you. You can then do dot type, then you can do the same for password. So as at the time that I'm writing this, I don't know what the value of username or password will be. All right, but I'm passing it here. But then I can then come into this place, into the test file. All right, and when I go into the test file, I can start by bringing in the login page by using imports. Okay, so I can import. All right, what would I import? Oh, okay, I didn't export it, sorry. I should export this. That's the thing with JavaScript. So when you want to use a file outside this file, this thing that I've written, now I want to use it outside of here, I would have to export it for me to be able to use it. So I can do export. Let's export it as default, then login page. Okay. So when I want to import, I will import this also here. So I will import login page. And this guy has given me the location from, you can see it's from support, page object, then the login page. So now I will now create an object of that class. How do you create an object of a class? You declare something, the name that you want to call it, and you say is equals to new, right, login page. And that's it. The object is now login. So instead of writing all of this now, I can do, let me call this login page instead, I beg, because it's going to be confusing now. So I'm going to now do login page. Once I put dot here, you will see that it will bring out those methods for me. And then I can put login, and this is expecting two things from me. It's expecting username, and it's expecting password. The username is this dot data dot username, right? And the password is this dot data dot password. So what we are effectively done right now is that instead of these 3 lines now, we are shortening it to 1 line of this. If I go back here, I didn't get the login button.
We didn't hard
Get
click.
login button. Yes, that's because I didn't get the login button. So I'm going to do get login button. And then where is it? This guy.
Is that not supposed to come after username and password?
Yes. If you look at the page, you'll see it. Hold on. So I ask you to return. Paste this. Then this is username, this is password. Then I can say this dot get login button dot click. All right. So effectively, I can remove these 3 guys. Right. And this is what we have here.
Please, can you comment it, please? Instead of taking it out completely, please.
So
that's better. Thank you.
I am not okay. Let me not put up my doubts because I really don't work with JavaScript that much. I work mostly with Java and TypeScript. So I'm just telling you now. Where is that my bash? Oh, everything is in use. Okay. So I can come here and try to run it again. And I hope I don't get error. Yes, I know that I will get errors.
Yeah.
I know that I will get error. And the reason why I will get error is that the return type.
But it actually run.
It ran now. No, the second one, this is what around this first one. The first one has an error. And it's because it cannot find this data, which I'm going to troubleshoot and find out why. Okay, if you want to get more about the code, you can do view trace stack, and if you are good with that, you can be looking at the code, the error code, what it brings out. Okay. So the reason why this one did not work is remember when I said that when you are using fixtures, you have to use the normal function, not arrow function, right?
Yeah.
This guy here is using arrow function, and that's the reason. So I'm going to refactor it to use function instead of arrow function, and I'll try again. All right, so it's now giving me the error that I want to see. It's not giving me the error that I want to see. If you see this is inside the login page, not inside the test file. It's inside the login page, and this is when I'm calling type on this guy. Okay. So there are 2 ways I can solve this. And the reason why I'm getting that error, because I like to run things like this so that we get error, so that we can talk about how to resolve things. The reason why I'm getting that error is that, first of all, JavaScript is not typed. So this guy does not know when I said it should return this. At this point, this type does not know this dot type. This dot type is that it wants to type the username, but it does not know the data type that is coming back from this guy. And you guys did not correct me. I called a function here and I did not call it. It should be like this. So I wrote a function, I did not call it. It should be like this. So first, let's try if this will work. If it doesn't work, then my earlier postulation is the correct one. And does it work? Yeah, it does. So what's the problem now? Oh, the first one actually worked.
Maybe we should comment. Maybe we should comment that second one, and we'll base our test run on this particular one, so that maybe we should comment the other one, the one that actually
No,
works.
it does. No, it does work. Okay, you want me to? Does this one have dot skip? That's okay. It has that only. Nice. It actually worked.
So what error are we not having?
The error that we're having is that it's not imputing the username. Yeah, but it's inputting the password, which is good. Do you know why it did this again? You know, it's supposed to be 1, but guys, see this? When I rerun this, is a single test I'm running, because I said it's only one that should run. But the first one, that one that I'm running, failed, and then it's running it again. Attempt 2, you can see that. I say attempt 2. That is because our configuration is working. If you look at the config DS, this config, we have retries 1 here. So if a test fail, it will retry it one more time. That's the reason why I have 2 attempts here. See, attempt 1, attempt 2. All right, so that's it. So this one is easily troubleshooted. You can troubleshoot it easily. It's saying that something is not being here. If you look at the login page, it's not typing the username here.
Yeah.
It's not typing the username here. That's what it's basically saying. So from here, we have login, username, and password. And if we go to the test file, that's where we'll see what we are passing in as the username. So is there anything that we're supposed to do that we're not doing here?
Maybe we need to declare the username. Well, it's actually inputting the password.
Is it putting the password right? So
this dots. Wait, you repeat password twice?
Where?
This dot get password type username. This dot get password dot type password.
Okay, good eye. Let me see your name. Okay. All right. So now it will work.
Let's see.
It's vexing for us.
That's another thing.
Let's get
that
password.
one is sort.
Okay.
Then we'll sort this one again. So okay, so we have password. Let's see.
Let me look at the arrow closely.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. It's my fault. My bad.
Oh yeah, dot. Nice one.
So it's looking for another thing and cannot find it. It's able to log in correctly. It's the assert that is now wrong. It's the assert that is now wrong, which let's see, which will be on the page itself. Okay, it's still running this guy. Let me comment this one out. So if I run this, everything should be fine. Exactly, is this guy running? He's running something else.
It's running some code. Maybe we should
Yeah.
check very well.
Don't worry, it will be fine now. Those are the issues.
We stay long. We stay long on it.
That's clear. MPX, Cypress, open first.
I think we can use that this thing. Let me just check it. Select up on version 15.
All right.
Do you know that it log out and log in again?
Yeah, that's what it's
Do you
supposed to
notice
do.
that? Okay.
Oh, these are the issues. So this is our problem, really. So what we did, this is user is unable to log in with wrong password, but we put correct password there. And because we did that, it was able to log in, and the error message is not able to find the error message, this invalid credentials. That is the reason for the error. So
it's trying to run that.
I'm going to input a rubbish password, a wrong password. All right. And this will run. So sometimes when you are doing things, just try to read the code by yourself. So everything is working well now.
Yeah.
All right. So reading the code by yourself is the best. Let me change this back to false. All right. So here we go. So we can do the same thing for this guy here. This is the right credential. So you can call the same thing. What's this? You can call the same thing. Just call login page dot login. Then we pass in the username and the password. So this dot data dot username, then followed by this dot data dot password. And then it covers these three guys. Then we can assert the image that exists, the login, the profile logo. The profile logo, well, but yeah.
Login, okay.
You know why it's running only one test?
Right?
That's how I like to learn. I like to teach. So here it's running only one test, but it's supposed to run two. The reason is that I apply something on this one, dot only. This is the only one that I will run. So until I remove this dot only, it will then run these two for me now.
Of that.
So it's running the second test, which is a valid login,
Okay.
and we are good. So if you
But
look
it,
at
but
this,
it didn't confirm the logo. Do you notice that?
it does. It does. This is
Oh,
it. If I open this up, this is it.
also
Assert.
over.
This is it.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay.
It's assert.
Yeah.
So if you look at this now, this really makes our code easy to read.
Very easy.
This simply means that you go to the login page and you log in with this username and password, and then you validate that it emits an error, invalid credential. You go there again, you put in the right username, right password, and then you verify that the logo exists. Simple. Instead of putting all this gibberish here, that is not that will make things not easy to read. So anytime you can see that anytime that we want to log in now, we already know that we are going to make use of the username field and password field and the button click. And this is now being written into the login method or function that we can call anytime that we want, even within any file within this our project. So if at all your next test case is to go to maybe for example, maybe you are doing an e-commerce website and you are going to maybe checkout, you want to run the flow from login to checkout. You don't have to write the full code of logging in. All you have to do is just call that login method, pass in the username and password, and that's it. It will log in for you.
But a lot
So yeah,
going in for this particular code that you actually, put on. It's not an easy code.
this is easy. Just tell yourself that it's easy. Once you tell
Yeah, I
yourself
know.
that it's easy, it's easy. So that is the prime advantage of page objects. So we have a page here that's doing all of those work, heavy lifting for us. And you can have maybe like a dashboard page also. Dashboard page .js within the page objects. And here we can also do class. Normally it should start with capital letter. Dashboard page. And then you have this. So this is just a dummy data. So you can have something like this also for dashboard page. So for example, now this our login page. Now, if you see, we are asserting something on the test file. We are asserting this guy. Okay, sorry, this guy on the successful login. But if you notice, this guy is on the dashboard page. So we can bring it to the dashboard. So I'm going to cut it, and then I'll go to the dashboard page, and then what's that thing? Dashboard logo. I'm going to just get dashboard logo. I don't know. So it's then I'll ask it to return this guy. Okay. So and I'm also exporting it as a default dashboard page. So I can go to this spec file, and then I can do something like this also. Const dashboard page equals to new dashboard page. Well, normally you should have the bracket here, but because our class does not have constructor yet, that's the reason why it's accepting it, and that's part. So I can import the dashboard page also. Okay, and I do it like this. So this one, I'll now come here. It will now be dashboard page dot get dashboard logo.
Get dashboard.
Then I should say dot should exist. You get? So we will not see all these cy.get on this page anymore. It should be inside the page objects. Likewise, this guy also, I can pull this off also and say this is the error message. Cut it. Then this one is on the login page. I can say get error message. All right. So I come back to the test file and say login page dot get error. Where is it? Get error message. Right. Where's your parentheses? So you see now that it's simple. Now you can repeat this thing over and over again, especially for different login cases.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions?
You deserve an award, though.
I'm telling you, multiple awards.
Very big award. My head,
I don't
my,
want to
my,
leave
my
this
head is
system
spinning
again.
already. Hey, God, I beg you.
Bad, man. They go take for work tomorrow. I mean, on Monday.
As in, hey.
This is 1 million voucher. That's good. Thank you so much.
I'll stop here for now. You can reach out to Adenike if you have any questions.
Thank you so much,
You
sir.
try,
The document that was on the chat box, I'm not sure what it's for, and I don't have access to it.
What's that? Sorry, I didn't get that.
I think it's a sheet link. It was shared on the chat box, but I'm not sure what it was for. I might have missed it.
Was that the one that shared it?
Oh, okay. Let me answer that. That sheet is for the community. It's not to be shared out. So I'm supposed to create like a post, something similar to that on Medium. I've not had time to do that. I'm supposed to create a post so that you can use it like a form of documentation to read along with the videos.
Okay.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Thank you so
I will
much.
try to that. Then I also like to chip in this. So I was trying to like buttress. So in a situation where you are working with sensitive applications, and if you try invalid password twice, it locks the system. So what I will recommend such situation, when you write a test for invalid, you next test to valid so that it doesn't lock you out. Or you could only try it once, then go ahead. All other invalid scenarios you need to, because if you retreat, you keep locking the application. So with everything we've done today, this is a lot. This is really a lot. Thank you, Mr. Wale, for the very insightful and loaded session. So I would like to, we'll meet on the chat if you really want another class tomorrow, or you want to digest everything that you had today. All right.
And thank you for the
Now.
platform for not asking Mr. Wale to stop. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Adenike, we can wait till next week. This one is a lot. Is a lot.